You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Chris Gillis. How to find out if he's ready for marriage and commitment. Ladies, listen, before we get started, if you're tired of attracting men who ghost, flake, or won't commit, and despite all the inner work you've done, you still don't have that guy who is your true equal, that loves you passionately and adores you, I have some super exciting news to share with you. We've opened up a couple of slots in the calendar for you to speak one-on-one with an expert on my team for free to uncover what's really keeping you from experiencing true love right now. And if we can help you get from where you are to where you want to be, and you want to work directly with me and my team to attract your person and the relationship you want, we'll talk about how we can do that in the fastest time possible. We help smart, high-achieving women all over the world find the loving, committed, passionate relationship their heart desires. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, book a free call right now with an expert on my team at dwdvip.com. That's dwdvip.com. We're going live. We're in our Life Check suite with Hallelujah, Praise be the Lord. Christopher Gillis is back to discuss
Costa Rican Chris, if you will.
Costa Rica. Yes, we totally missed you. Robbie Kramer and we totally kept things going, and we had a lot of fun. And I'm so happy that you and Dr. Emily got to spend some quality time together.
Oh, we did. Frolicking
in the beach in Costa Rica, where my husband curated your trip.
He did. It was basically.
He was like, I hope Chris is having fun. I wonder what Chris is doing now. I was like, oh my God, you're texting Chris more than you're talking to me.
He was so jealous and inspired. But yeah, he's your man. You found a really good life partner. Because you love the adventures and you're down to ride. He loved planning these epic rides.
Yeah, and so I'm so glad you got to do a Jeremy trip.
Totally, Jeremy. This man has got spreadsheets up to wazoo with links, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Well, I know you're probably devastated not to be watching The Bachelor while you're on your amazing romantic vacation, but you did try to watch it?
Yeah. Tried. All the TV stuff there is all fucking blocked. It's so annoying. Yeah. You're in different countries. All your apps don't work. So,
yeah, you have you have to do some pretty spectacular stuff to get that going. But you caught up. And so one of the things I just want to start off with, I mean, for those of you who actually watch the show, finally, this, our leading man who is such a poor leader, Clayton, he finally gave the boot to Shanae. I thought it was super anticlimactic, although I must admit, as I was dicing vegetables while I was watching the show, I said to Jeremy, oh God, because there's that moment and he's like, the person who showed me the truth. And I'm like, what? And then he got rid of crying Shanae, and it seemed anticlimactic. But and then in the aftermath, he's like, I know you all are so happy you got rid of her. But then in the last couple of weeks, he's sort of been like, oh, I'm so embarrassed I kept her around. And it goes to this whole thing about Clayton. We talked about this a little bit last week, which is, who is this guy? He is a freaking chameleon.
Okay.
Well, it's he acted in this episode last night like, oh, I know you guys really hated Shanae. Now we can all finally move on with it, But which would make sense in the old school Bachelor where the producers made somebody stay. And what Robbie and I talked about is this guy has no balls. He's a chameleon. We now know that you can get rid of anyone you want whenever you want. We've seen it over and over again. Especially since you started watching a few years ago. And so then here he's like, oh, I know you guys don't really like her. Now we can all have a good time. And then he went public, in the media last week, apologizing for his decision to keep her around. And this is what women want. They want a man. Now, he's a giant ass man, a beefy man. He looks like a lot of cartoon characters to me, but even though and I said he's not a good leader, like this guy just feels like he will do and say the next thing, but he really doesn't know what he wants and who he is. Thoughts?
Yeah. My thoughts are, you are in the majority of women, and that's what surprised me. And I guess it's good news for men is that looks aren't everything, and that you guys get fed up with our. It doesn't matter if you're 6'5" and 260 pounds of chiseled muscle like Clayton, but in the end, you can't. Yeah, you got to show up. And the internet, I was kind of curious to take the pulse, and after read some recaps, and the ladies were saying the same thing. The fans are like, "Dude, Clayton is just terrible." And I think you touched on it last week, that the producers will have just found somebody who's moldable, and they could add the drama. And he doesn't take any leadership. It doesn't quell anything, and he's so disruptible. And it turns out, I guess it's not doesn't matter how handsome and tall or whatever you are. If you can't do that, then bad news bears.
Well, yeah. And that goes true for ladies, right? Like, because I think we have a lot of listeners and women that have come into sort of my campus who are like, I don't get it. I'm really pretty. I'm really smart. I have a great job. Like, why can't, because in the end, that I know who I am and this is what I want. And I am not going to be impacted by the direction the wind is blowing is what people find attractive. And it's counterintuitive, because what most people are doing when they're dating is like, do you like me yet? Do you like me? Do you like me now? Do you like me now? How about if like this? Yeah. Do you like me now?
I think what's even, I think a kind of a really big take home is that people can be blessed with all the attributes to get that initial attraction, like a Clayton and like Shanae. But what I was kind of floored by, but I see it here in Los Angeles all the time, is that yes, they may get these initial, I'm thinking, I don't know, fishing analogy, like they get the strikes, but they don't ever end up getting in the boat. And right. I was really surprised, but not surprised. That Shanae, for example, because she demands so much attention. But not all attention is good attention. And initially, yes, you could be like, I'm sure the girls were jealous and fed up, and like she's stealing all of his time. But in the end, it wears out. And then she even kind of showed her cards, and she said, she's 29 years old and never been in love. Like, holy shit, that really, really shocked me. But didn't shock me. Yeah,
well, exactly. It makes perfect sense, because she's the one who's been leading with her sexuality. Like, my value is that, you want to fuck me, basically. And, either you that's the prize. That's really, I'm going to jump on your lap and, get on the bar counter and, and stick my tongue down your throat. And I think in the end, when someone's really looking for a partner, that doesn't last. Yeah. And for some people that's actually a turn off at some point, and so I think that it's really about truly being who you are and being vulnerable versus being a showman. So let's talk about that, because I wanted to throw my keto homemade tortilla chips at the television last night when that Sarah was crying and then crying some more. And what's crazy is so bless Mara, she's like, I'm 32, she's 23. If you say you want to have family and get married, is a 23-year-old really, ready to do that? Fair question. Yeah. I think it's got a good 50-50. Fair question. But when he asks, he doesn't ask an actual question. He's like, someone in the house, told me this, versus like, hey, I'm just curious, you're 23. Like, why are you ready to settle down? And he made it about this whole someone's out to get you, which led to this crying bullshit, which she didn't even answer the question. So do you the crying thing? Why is that becoming a thing on this season?
Full disclosure, it's so funny that you say that. Dr. Emily and I got into a little lover's quarrel over this. Marni, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I'm on the same camp you are. I am. And I said the same thing you just said. I was like, what is she doing? She's almost like, I don't know. She flooded him. And but Clayton's not a good swimmer, so don't be throwing big waves at the
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I need to go walk away for a minute.
Yes.
AKA talk to the producers so they can tell me what to do because I have no fucking mind of my own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I see this so often, and we see it on the show all the time. And these girls, and especially even on the season with Clayton, and almost, I don't know if it's to buy them more time, but it does have an effect on the guy. But it does kind of just, it's like pouring water over his computer CPU, like he dries out, fucking rise roll backwards, and he's got to leave. He doesn't know what to do. And I experienced the same way you said. I said, you know what? That's I don't know if you have a term for it in your dating life, but different levels of grades. That was like a white belt level grade of vulnerability. I don't know. I don't consider crying just the act of the water. We see Shanae do it, right? Shanae,
yeah.
I can cry. So maybe that's why I was a little off put by it. It's like, what is she doing? Just speak your heart. Which eventually, after I'm sure producers coaching, and she had her time to collect herself. But she did seem to be, flooded with emotions, and it just came through her eyes. But I'm on the same camp. And she was like, "What in the world? This is not." But it wasn't high level communication.
No,
for a guy who needs low level.
Well, I know.
Level.
Well, the thing is, I felt like she was crying because she didn't want to lose, not because she didn't want to, because I'm being misunderstood. It was more like, why did she say mean things to me? And
we rewatched it. We had to rewind it. We've gotten such a little spat. We had to rewind.
Wait, what was your spat? Your spat? You were disagreeing about her.
I was saying the same thing you are. Okay, on a second viewing, Marni, I said, okay, I do agree that yes, they were. I was able to see it more through Dr. Emily's eyes. Like, okay, she's just really. She's not so worried about losing, and she's not so focused on Marlena. The girl looks like the chick from Sopranos, but instead she was actually, maybe I could then maybe see, okay, maybe she was worried about losing him as well. But I don't know. It gets the fact that I had to, in real life we're not being videotaped. We don't get to rewind.
Right. We don't get to rewind.
Sitting from from an objective point of view. Yeah. We're looking from our very, we have our own coloring and perspective on things. So,
well, here's what's something super interesting, and this comes up in our coaching a lot, actually. I'm so glad you brought it up. Some people have a default, we call it like victim sort of default wiring. And so they learn that crying, right, they can cry, but it's not necessarily a feeling, it's a behavior. Right. And so sometimes crying becomes a default strategy, but you're still not emotionally connected to sadness.
Yes.
Right. And so I just felt like that whole thing was just like this blubbering, and she couldn't express herself in the crying. And then, of course, we have Clayton who can't make it. I feel like he just goes like, time out. Can someone tell me what to do? Like he has to go take a timeout. No, it's great. Like that when he gets emotionally flooded, he's like needs a timeout. But I think in real life, that would be great. But I think he's just going to the producers. Like, what should I do now?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about crying. So I have strong feelings. I think it's also, I don't know if this is a disclaimer is the right word, but I want to just stress that 100% crying has a place in it. It can be a beautiful
Yes,
thing.
Exactly.
It is, a healthy expression of, it's normal as a sneeze and we should all do it. But from this show, and again, maybe it's the villains or whatnot, maybe it's just serious. Maybe I'm getting a little jaded, Marni, from watching these shows, but I see it used as maybe I'm wrong, but almost a manipulation tool to get these girls to buy them more time or get them through sticky moments or whatnot versus, and yes, I get it. Not everyone's Marni Batista and they can't come in there with a clear head and say, I'm feeling X, Y, Z right now, so I'm going to be crying just to let you know. And it's this and this.
I don't do that, just so you know.
Yelling at me, oh God, you would never. I'm like, you're right. I probably wouldn't, if I was her. But I'm just saying, in a perfect world, this is what Marni and I are going to talk about tomorrow. Is what I told her.
Right, exactly.
There was a better way to do it, and then
ask a better. So let's just read. Okay, so if we're gonna like John Madden, may he rest in peace. I love that they honored him at the Super Bowl. By the way, made me so happy. Okay. Right. So if you take the big picture thing, like the issue at hand is an important issue. Correct. Like in dating, do we both want the same things right now? Are our goals the same? Okay, so the next level is how do I discern that? It's not like so let's put this in real life. It would be like Clayton went home and said to his mom or someone or his best friend, I really like this woman. She's super hot. Like we have a great time, really a lot in common. She's 23. I'm 30. Like, I don't know. And the friend or the mom were like, hey, ooh, that's a little young. I think you should find out, right, if she's looking for the same things. So you wouldn't go on the date and you'd be like, my mom thinks, or my friend Brad thinks that you're too young for me.
Yeah.
No. You would say, this is what I want. And it scares me that the idea of marriage is fun. Right. And we have this great connection and chemistry. I'm concerned years down the path, you would be like, wow, I never traveled. I only dated 2 men. How do you feel about that?
Yes.
So,
and how about Dr. Emily took the next level this morning because we were going back over our quarrel. And she said, what Sarah is the gal's name in this case. She said, what she could have done is, or what Clayton could have done is say, hey, you're 23, and then put her in this situation instead of just being like, how do you, feel about that? Because that could be like, oh, that's great, I'm good with it. Instead, ask her more open-ended questions, meaning,
yes,
hey, when you're okay, we're married, you're 23-year-old, all your friends are, are going somewhere, or going out to partying and this and that. What do you do? Go, and how put her in those situations when all your friends are doing this and that, and then to kind of actually ask her, how are you going to feel about that? What are you going to do about that? And, and to really kind of make her sit there, especially, and look at all, and maybe she goes, you know what? Surprisingly, you probably wouldn't guess this, Clayton, but half of my friends are married already. And
exactly. And yes. And on previous seasons, I think those conversations have been had with people that are younger. And the thing is, see, if I were going to watch it in slow motion, and if you rewatch the rewind for a third time, when he first asked the question, I thought she was going to say, well, actually, yeah, that's a lot. Because she hesitates.
Yes.
Right. And she's like, and I think her brain was like, fuck yeah, no. But anyway, let me answer this so I can win. And be on here one more week and get 100,000 more followers. So I think that's great. I think there are really important conversations that need to be had. I think you need to use I statements. If it gets heated, taking a break is great, but also, look at the worst thing to do is to go ask 14 other people what they think you should do, right? To be able to answer your own truth, and stay in the conversation. And then also, I think what I'm trying to teach people is too, and we were just talking about this on a coaching call last night. When you set a boundary or you say something and the other person has an emotional reaction, it's going to be hard, but it doesn't mean you're responsible for fixing it or that you did something wrong. Right. And so I think that we have to be comfortable as humans. And I'm working on it for sure. When someone else feels a big emotion, angry, sad, whatever, it's hard to just be in that or not feel guilty or try and make it go away or downplay it. And I think that's really the big stretch is when we're having these big conversations and someone has a reaction, to not turn it off, to actually stay in it, to lean in it, to try not to react. I think all those things are really challenging. I think this shows the worst, what not to do. Do not abandon your vehicle at the side of the road, just definitely don't do that. Okay, let's talk about this. So in this episode, there's this whole thing about she's too young to get engaged. She's old. She's this age. So she would be right for this. I think that what happens is a lot of people make up stories. They have a lot of beliefs about what someone is or is not capable of, what they want or should want. Even saying, you're 23 and you're obviously not ready for marriage. I mean, that's not fair either, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, maybe she totally is. And so I think it's really important when you're dating not to make a bunch of assumptions about, I wouldn't date that guy because he's this age, so he probably wants this. Or I would never date this guy because his job is this, and that means he probably wouldn't do this, or he would do that. And I think we just make up a bunch of stories up that really prevent us from getting to know people.
Yeah, and I think I think also we do it to ourselves as well, right? Like I'm whatever X years old, and they got 2 years left of breeding in me, so therefore I'm I'm expiring goods or whatever as well, and that what we end up believing is it's so incredibly true and strong, or can be true, and we can, like you say, leak it all over the other person. There's a lot of power in that.
And also leading with that, like, so in this episode, Mara, who's I think 32, she acts like she's 49. It's insane, right? Exactly. She's like, I'm old. I'm the oldest one. I'm the old one. I get it. I'm in a mastermind group, and up until like the last month, I was for sure like the oldest one in the group by like 15 to 20 years. And now I notice that there's some women in this group that are in their 40s, but I had that tendency, like, you guys are kids, good for you. Like, wow, I'm old. So I get,
you know what? It does change. It's funny because I'm 45 now and I still don't act like it, but it's so funny that I have to always it kind of adds on to what I was just saying. I was in Tennessee partying and, hanging out. And then somebody told me, like 3 times, like, we're the oldest people here, and I didn't hear it. And then I smelled like the puke-covered floors where obviously a bunch of rookie drinkers. And I looked up and I took it, and I really took it, and I go, holy smokes, I really am the oldest person. I felt so odd. Nothing changed. The music, same music, pukes, drinks, all that stuff. But all of a sudden, God damn it, I don't know. I felt like.
Ladies, before we dive deeper into this episode, if you're tired of attracting men who ghost, flake, or won't commit, and despite all the inner work you've done, you still don't have that guy who is your true equal, that loves you passionately and adores you, I have some super exciting news to share with you. We've opened up a couple of slots in the calendar for you to speak one-on-one with an expert on my team for free to uncover what's really keeping you from experiencing true love right now. And if we can help you get from where you are to where you want to be, and you want to work directly with me and my team to attract your person and the relationship you want, we'll talk about how we can do that in the fastest time possible. We help smart, high-achieving women all over the world find the loving, committed, passionate relationship their heart desires. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, book a free call right now with an expert on my team at dwdvip.com. That's dwdvip.com.
100 to sexy and beautiful and cool as I was. A second ago, I felt weird, like the outcast. And it's strange, just like that, just having my other person, tell me that, hey, you're old, dude. I was like, whoa. As soon as I
well, we don't see, because we feel like ourselves, not like an age. And so it's so fucking weird. But I think,
feel like that in your writing group when you're like, when all of a sudden it hits you like, holy moly. And you look around, you're like, I guess I am older than that. Or did you have a different?
No, well, in this group, it's a different. It's not a writing group, but it's a sort of more of like it's a different kind of group. But what I more felt like was really impressed that these men and women in their 30s are doing their life with such intention. And then what was really interesting was in reflecting on it, I was like, wow, I really created this world of my life as I wanted it in basically 10 to 12 years, Right. Like, so I could have been like, oh God, if I would have started when I was 30,
Yeah.
fuck, like, wow, imagine what I could have done. But I was like, no, look how amazing I am and what we created together, Jeremy and I. And let me just, this is so off topic, but I have to say, so I'm living in this community right now, and it's 55 and over, which is really interesting because I was living in a community before because we were just renting before the RV situation, and it had no age limit, but for sure people were more like in their 70s, maybe late 60s. So in reality, there's way more people because I'm 55. So there's way more young people here. That being said, there's a fucking amazing gym here. Like, it's insane. And I go there, 3 or 4 times a week, whatever. And there's like the regulars, just like at any gym.
Yep.
And so on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, there are these 2 guys that are there, and they're like the old guys. And they're literally like bench pressing and like they're lifting weights, and they go, whatever. And I heard them talking about and the guy's like, yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I mean, I'm fucking 80. Yeah. And then I looked over in the yoga room because I was doing my little leg press things. And I saw all these women who were like probably more, there were some that were in their 50s, but a lot of them that were in their 70s, probably maybe even late 60s or whatever, late 70s, doing like full yoga, like doing all these stretches and doing all this stuff. And I realized how even that we have such limiting beliefs about what we're capable of or what our life is going to look like at a certain age. And I really say that to everyone who's listening, whether you're 30 or 70, because anything is possible no matter how old that you are when you are living your best life, right? When you're being authentic, when you are really feeling like you are being true to yourself. And that's what I noticed from living here is that people are doing themselves. They're like very happy. People are happy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that happiness is attractive. And when we look at the show, we'll go back to the show for a second, and you look at like this cast of ladies who are available, it's really like becomes who's happy, who's not even happy, who has peace and inner contentment.
Yes.
And joy. And if you were like hovering above the cast and you had like an energetic vibration machine, you'd be like Rachel, pretty much seems pretty chill, like still interesting, the pilot. And I'm not sure exactly who else is got that vibration, but when it comes down to it, we say this again and again and again, is that sense of just knowing who you are, being who you are, whatever age you are, feeling worthy, confident, living your best life. That's what makes people want to be with you.
Exactly. And I think that also with relationships to the show, I think that's where Mara, stumbles, and that she gave off this saccharine, I'm so happy. I'm ready, and I'm because I'm this age. But I think it's telling she's not really happy because she felt the need to step down on Sarah in this case and point out other people why she's better than them. I am, that's not Buddha. I'm happier. I'm better than this person. I'm better being happy. I'm better at being more qualified and blah blah blah, and putting these other people down. And you know what? And it's sad because, again, all these women, they're all very attractive, as far as like physically on paper, and I'm sure their careers or whatnot. But yeah, you're right. That's when you see Mara becoming less and less as an attractive candidate for Clayton. And you saw it in his eyes too.
Yeah, he's just so not into her, and it's
and he could be, and that's I think that's if you were coaching these gals, and that's what's so crazy. I think any of these people, they're just tweaked the right way. They have all the but exactly, like she was leaking, and she was by putting other people down. She's not truly happy with being, where she's at in this awesome stage of being readiness. You could tell she sees it as a weakness instead of trying to bench press and just being, oh no, I love that. I'm still doing this and this and this versus, oh, we do this at the gym all the time. We're super insecure. Us big guys, I'm not a big guy anymore, but like the massive guys, you always see us side-eyeing other dudes and secretly like, oh, I bet he's, using this illegal drug and it's illegal drug. And even though, we feel so small, you see body dysmorphia, but you could see she has this age dysmorphia.
Yes.
In
this
episode.
Yeah. And I think it's just not attractive. And I think what you said is and this is what is so true of every single person who's listening to this show. You have the potential to be the best catch in the room.
Yeah.
Right? It's really about how you believe yourself to be and how you show up in your life. And we're all just a few shifts in our thinking away, because that one or two little tiny shifts impacts everything that we do and how we come across. And so I think that's really, really powerful. And I think that, and this is what I said at the end of the episode last night, I was like, I see these kernels of like who Mara probably is outside the show, which is a competent, successful person. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, leave. Like she knows, I was shocked she got the rose at the ceremony because I was like, he's not into her. So here's the thing. Instead of like keep receiving those little breadcrumb text messages or, being available when he just be the one who exits. Say, you know what? Like I'm looking for something that's different and I think we're just not a match. And leave while you're ahead instead of trying to see if something changes or if he changes. Because you got no time for this shit. She should have left. Yeah.
And you know what? And by leave, if it's not, if you feel that you're betraying yourself and not, upholding your value. And you know what, guys? Worst case scenario, and it's not even worst case, is that he says, he comes back and he asks for another shot again and he apologizes. And if in best case, he doesn't, and you're like, awesome, you move on and you have your intact and your dignity, and go about your life, honoring who you really are.
Exactly. So let's talk about this before we go, because I think it's just so important. There was a lot of possible red flags that were kind of thrown around here. We've got Shanae, who's, I'm 29 and I've never been in love. And then we've got Teddy, who's like, I'm a virgin. I've never been in love. I don't know how old she is. Do we know how old Teddy is?
I don't know. No, I don't. Probably mid-20s. And the internet is obsessed with saying they think they are the Claytons, and I'm curious to get your take on it. That he's walking red flags as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. First of all, Teddy Wright is 24. Just by the way.
Gosh. Okay.
Okay. So she's 24, virgin, never been in love. Okay, I'll buy it. 29. I'm like worried for you that you've never been in love. But let's talk about this because Shanae is just like a character. But for Teddy, he says Clayton is trying so hard to make it be okay. Like you could see him like he is like a gold medal Olympian of mental gymnastics, trying to make what Teddy says fit what he's looking for. Right. He's like, well, if you were in love, would you know what that is? How would you know? And she's like, I don't know, because I would feel safe. I feel safe with you. Oh my God. Again, like, no. And maybe in his mind, he really is like, no, but he's on a TV show, so he has to keep her around. But God bless. Like, if you're on a date with someone and they start telling you the truth and you hear things that don't feel resonant, make it be your last date. Because the whole like asking, and Clayton's done this like 3 times. He keeps asking it in a way to try and get an answer that he can live with.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think a couple things. I feel like there's a new 2022 Marni about like a theme that you're promoting, at least today, that dating, it's like toilet paper. They're always more. Don't even stress out and use one square, dude. There's tons more, and be abundant about it. And I'm just thinking about my person, back when I was single. My God, I also, I think I failed, Marni. I would put too much weight on. I would be the Claytons or the Sarahs or whatnot, and I was afraid of screwing it up. And I just wanted to make sure the person liked me, so then I could decide, whatnot. But I feel like you're very free and loose. And how do you have that attitude of you know what? Yeah. Oh, no, cool. Yep. Next. So easily be so flippant about it and grab another one, especially to the gals out there. It's been a while that it's been on a date. Like some people, right? Like don't go, like they go on like dates like once every year.
Well, well, for sure. But this is the thing: is dating has never been easier.
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
So you can, and now like people are so. If you're physically able to get out and about, there are ways to be able to do that. And if you're not, there are ways to be able to do that using, lots of different safety protocols that feel comfortable for you. And believe it or not, there is somebody who believes like you do, and whatever end of the spectrum that is, because we see that with our clients. So the reason I'm being flippant is because like, he's been on a couple of dates with Teddy, right? And she's super cute. And the part that I want everyone to listen is dating is about collecting data and having fun. And the having fun is really important, but you are going to collect data, and it's about the follow-up question. And I get that. I think that I would just coach Clayton to ask the questions. Like he's got good intent by the follow-up, but he's leading the witness.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right. So like if someone's like, because I have women who are on our campus who are like 49, 50, 55. They've never been married. And they're like, oh God, he's going to ask me why if I never been married. And I'm like, answer confidently, right? Like, I was focused on my career and I really wanted to have financial security, and I was then taking care of my family. And I'm in this place now where I love my life and I have the freedom to share it with someone. I'm super excited about that. And I have been heartbroken, or, I've never let myself fall in love, but I did all this work on myself in the last 5 years and my heart's so open. Like, say all those things, right? And ask those questions. Don't lead the witness.
Yeah.
Right. And get the answer that you're hoping for. And because if they're not your right person, and we see this on this damn show again and again, they're together for 6 months or a year, and then the shit gets real and they break up. That's date. I mean, that is dating, right? So
is it true that I was doing a deep dive yesterday that old watchers, old fans of the Bachelor series, all these lots of they go, holy shit, it's become so formulaic. Nobody talks about anything. It's the same canned phrases.
Yes.
Oh, I can, I love that, or I can, me too. I can see myself doing this. It's the same bullshit over and over and over again. And we don't see, and people are like, are they editing it all out? Are they thinking that's what we want? But what happened is, it's just, it's simple questions like, what's your favorite color? Like,
yes, it's so,
any of that, all these commonalities, it's not there, and it's all, is it changed? Do you think they're?
Well, I think the show, I mean, look, and even like bad examples of listening, like he asks a question. He's like, I really like your answer. I could see that's the answer that I was looking for. I could see myself also. I also like to. These are not normal conversations. And that's what Robbie Kramer and I were talking about over the last couple of weeks, because he hasn't watched the show in years. And he was like, nobody fucking talks like this.
No.
Like, these are like shitty conversations. If your conversations are like this, please call me. Like, let me help you. And I think people think that in their head, maybe like, oh, that is a good answer. I'm looking for a man who likes his mother.
Yeah.
So if that's how, if it feels real to you, like, let me help you.
So I think that it sounds like this kind of back to what we're talking about with how the dating paradigm has shifted, and what seems like these people, because they're so ladies, don't ask questions, don't talk like these guys, because these guys, they're not in there, they're not curious, they're not data collecting.
No,
they are they're trying to answer a test.
Yes.
And they're fucking cheating off of the teacher and looking over, and they're asking, I remember back in the day in school, I used to be like, this question could be interpreted in four. I wonder exactly what you mean. I'm trying to figure out what the hell the teacher's actually asking. So
right.
The answer to the teacher. And that's what I'm getting more and more on that. Yeah. That's the kind of the vibe, that this show gets versus, like you said, no one's asking these open-ended questions and being curious, and there's never any disagreement or saying, well, anytime there is a little disagreement, people get all,
But that's because this is because the person they've cast as the lead has no leadership, right? Yeah. There's no leadership. It's just this is a produced season. I think they're all produced, but this is just really produced.
You can be, I guess it's not, you can have your own opinions, and you can, you don't see people, I guess everyone seems like people are I don't know, worried about coming off as disagreeable, or so everyone's just, oh yeah, totally. I love that. Or sometimes it's like yesterday on the last week's show, they were saying something, the answers didn't even make sense. And you're like, oh, I know that doesn't apply here, but you know what it reminds me of, Marni? It reminds me, you said something about dating. I was thinking about about the scarcity of what dating used to be versus what it is now. And you're so right. I didn't think about it. It's so hard, though, I think, to shift. So from the old way of the finiteness, the big, all that was on it was at stake for dating. It reminds me of my I used to have a Yahoo account when email first came, and I still have my old Yahoo account, and I still have, because the space was so limited, I deleted every message. And to this day, with my Yahoo account, I still delete every message, and then I switched over to Gmail. And Gmail, I think, is like Tinder and dating and Bumble. Shit has changed. We're right. We're not in an abundance anymore of getting email and having space and storage. Or we're not limited like we used to be. Now we have an unlimited amount and opportunities galore, and you can just leave it there or archive it or do what you want. And it's never ending. But it's so interesting how I still. And I think I can imagine, because I'm probably similar demographic as some of your listeners.
Yeah.
It's tough to switch over, and to be like, hey, you know what? No big deal. I'll go on another one. When you're raised with, having that Yahoo mentality of,
right.
Oh my God, I can only hold a certain number of emails here. I got to be very careful and play scared versus just how we are with our Gmail accounts.
Yeah, no, I think that's so great. And I was, and we'll wrap up with this, because the truth is that you all are your own bachelorette. But the thing is that, and I was talking to a former client of ours over the weekend who was dating someone, and it didn't work out. And so she's turned on the faucet. She's like, I'm honestly overwhelmed. There's so many guys. And I said, well, why are you overwhelmed? Are you just having a hard time organizing them? And she said, oh no, I have a little FOMO that I'm trying to go out with every single person, but then it's too much. I don't have time for this. I'm not having me time, and I'm not being present on the date. And so my coaching to her was that if you're the bachelorette of your life, you pick the top one or two that you want to go out with, and be totally present and trust the process. And if it's the right guy, he'll wait, he'll be patient. But when you start dating, oh my God, I have to get this person to like me and this person to like me, and I don't want to miss out. And there's a time, and I'm Mara, and it's like, oh my God, the clock is ticking. And am I, it just gets translated into a whole lot of bleh. And it's not fun. And I want all of our listeners to enjoy this whole process, which is getting to know and meet people and experiencing it in a way that the journey is just as amazing as the destination. And I know that sounds very pie in the sky for a lot of you, but I want to remind you that I was single, hardcore for 5 years, on the apps, on the, online, talking to Chris, doing all this stuff. And so I get it and I remember it, but also it can also be super fun, and the journey is amazing, and that when you get to the point where you find your person, which is the irony of it all, however many years later, you're like, wow, remember how it feels when you first meet that person? That's so amazing. Like, how can I keep recreating that in the relationship that I have? Which is so ironic, right? Because you're trying to get out of that position and have it for the last time. And then you spend the rest of your partnership trying to get it back to that feeling, or keep that feeling going. So enjoy the fucking journey, people.
God damn it.
Go into damn Costa Rica, and then before you know it, you're just having a fight on the couch watching a fucking reality show.
Some stupid shit. And it's so ironic. It's all a journey. It's all gonna have ups and downs. It's all gonna suck at times. God damn it! It is what it is. What it is.
It is what it is.
Love it, dude.
It is. It's so true. I love it. So that being said, the journey continues. I did see a little thing online. I did do a skosh of research, which I forgot to tell you, which was basically that. Clayton has said that he's at the time of this interview that he was happy he did this experience, but also he had no idea the amount of shit that he would get.
Really?
And that, they're saying, people are saying boring, and then he shows his personality and it seems so extra and weird. And so I have no idea who this guy is. I obviously, like, literally, and as a character on television show, we don't know really who he is. But I do wish him the best. And, for anyone who decides that whatever it is they want from this show, whether it is fame, fortune, or love, bless your soul. And thank you for doing it in public so Chris Gillis and I can talk about you.
Fight about it later with our loved ones.
Exactly. All right, Chris, I can't wait till next week's show. Ladies, whatever you do, life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.